Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everybody, to the Saturday Morning Mastermind. I'm your host, Samantha Studebaker-Carl. I'm here with my good friends Lori and Kenji and Catherine and Sherry and Cheryl and Jane and Jason. We have a full house today. That's amazing. And today we're going to continue our discussion of the book Hunting Discomfort by Sterling Hawkins. We're in chapter 3 in the section called Get Unstuck from the Muck. But we are on part 2 of that, which is what to do instead of being stuck. But before we go ahead and get going with the reading, I'm going to have everybody jump out, introduce yourselves, and then Catherine, we can take it from there. Go ahead and jump out, guys.
I'm Cheryl.
Hello, I'm Lori Emmons in Denver.
I'm Jane in Maryland.
Hi, Sherry, Maryland too.
Kenji, Maryland. Just teasing.
This is Catherine. Okay, what to do instead of being stuck, part 2. There's another way to expand your reality in order to move through a stuck area of your life. For this one, you're going to need the help of others. Let's imagine you and me are sitting across from each other at a table. Between us is this book, upright, with the front cover facing you. What would happen if we both described it? From my vantage point, I'd see testimonials and a bio. From your perspective, you'd see the cover art. Both of our views would be accurate, just incomplete. If we invited more people to the table, we'd discover even more perspectives on this book. You can tackle the stuck areas in your life the same way. You're not going to be looking at this book, but you can gather several people to look at the situation you're facing. When you have multiple people looking at the same thing, it becomes much easier to perceive how different perspectives might also be true. Just like viewing this book from different angles, you could all be looking at the same thing, but needing each other's vantage points for a more complete view. And then it has a figure. Perspectives widen your view of reality. Having various people view a situation you're feeling stuck in will give you perspectives beyond what you could ever see yourself. And I'm sure that we're all familiar with the story of the elephant and the people around the elephant describing the different parts. So this is a very similar concept. Don't avoid healthy conflict in this exercise, by the way. The discomfort of discussing, not fighting about, the points you disagree on is exactly, and I mean exactly, where you'll find the freedom from getting unstuck. Before you begin, be sure to have consensus that you are all committed to taking the time and space to explore the hard conversations in order to get closer to the truth. When you find yourself vehemently disagreeing with someone's point of view, do yourself a favor and start looking at how that other person might be right. If you had their same beliefs, perspective, experiences, and ethics, chances are you'd have the same opinion they have. It's not an opportunity to block, antagonize, or ignore. It's an opportunity for you both to get closer to an expanded view of reality. Gather the group. Invite 3 to 6 people to join you to discuss a particular area, professional or personal, where you are feeling stuck. Ideally, these are individuals whose worldviews are not identical to yours, but whose opinions you trust. Number 1, present the stuck area. Do not take more than 5 minutes for this. Number 2, attain consensus that tough and honest feedback is valuable, and everyone is willing to stick with the exercise even if it gets uncomfortable. Number 3, ask each person for their thoughts, advice, and perspective on why you're stuck. Number 4, actively work to see things from their point of view. Remember, rejecting their thoughts before truly hearing them will keep you exactly where you are, stuck. Warning. A typical response to feeling stuck is wanting to redouble your efforts. 90% of what I see on Instagram is about how hard work is the only thing between you and a successful outcome. Wrong. In Get Your Brain Unstuck, Ron Friedman writes, research tells us something different. While grit does have its role, dogged persistence can actually backfire. It turns out that when you're stuck, simply more focus will result only in a narrower view. When to know you're on the right track. You'll know that hunting the discomfort of expanding your reality is working when, drumroll here, you start getting results. It's that simple. It might not be immediate, though it could be, but over time your goals will start lining up better with your results. This is the number one indicator of your success. Others include you feel alive. Moving through discomfort will typically leave you feeling rejuvenated, exhilarated, and more alive than you felt in some time. Deep down, you've always known the potential you have. When you lose the limiting beliefs that are holding you back, you are essentially unleashing this part of yourself. You face headwinds from the status quo. People at your job, in your community, and even your friends and family know only a limited version of who you are. As you hunt down and change your limited and faulty lenses on the world, your words, actions, ideas, and self will begin to change. Your vehicle with wings. Expect pushback. Understand that who you are may also be threatening the comfort zone of those around you. Know that pushback means the process is working, and you can always give them a copy of this book to get them on board. You see the world differently. Expanding your reality shifts how you see yourself, others, and the world. Maybe the view will be a little different. Maybe it will be radically different. You won't have to force it. It will just happen naturally because your vantage point has changed. Your discomfort changes. Once you start actively hunting discomfort, the experience of the discomfort will change. Things that used to trigger you may no longer. Emotions that took over might not be there anymore. It takes time, but discomfort isn't static. It can and will change. And when it does, it means you're doing it right. You want me to finish this chapter?
Uh, it could. Then we'd be through chapter 3. What do you
Okay.
guys think? Yeah.
It's
It's only another
Alright.
page or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's to a
Yep.
new reality. Your unexamined beliefs about yourself and the world will always limit you until you make the unconscious conscious. It will direct your life, and you will call it fate, as the late psychologist Carl Jung suggested. If you don't have the results you want, now is the perfect time to question the beliefs you have in order to expand your view of what might be possible. Remember, there's not just one better way to view things. More better ways will naturally present themselves as you take steps forward. You'll get better at doing it too. Everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. You just have to be courageous enough to push through. The way out is through the discomfort of facing reality. Takeaways. We are all limited in our views of what's possible, but by questioning your beliefs and assumptions, you can start to shift your view. You are operating from limiting or faulty beliefs when your feelings don't match your words. You have a negative mood. Your actions don't line up with your goals. You are never wrong or never right. You overgeneralize. You are emotionally triggered. You are resigned. Data, or more likely the interpretation of data, can be misleading, especially when groups of people buy into it. Only the laws of physics dictate what's possible or not. Use them as a rule. Feelings can seem like facts. They are not. You must go through the feeling to get to the real nature of things. To get unstuck, you can 1. Do something that is challenging and outside your comfort zone, or 2. Gather people to understand different perspectives. Hard work alone won't get you unstuck. You must move through your discomforts. Hunting the discomfort of reality is working when you have results. You feel alive. You genuinely see the world differently. Your discomfort changes. It no longer is where it once was. The way out of faulty or limiting beliefs is through the discomfort of expanding your view of reality. That's it. We did it.
Great reading. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Catherine.
you. Mhm.
Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Can you read that last sentence one last time?
Sure. The way out of faulty or limiting beliefs is through the discomfort of expanding your view of reality.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment on in that first, I don't know, couple of paragraphs of this section where it says what to do instead of being stuck, part 2. And he goes on to say, if we invited more people to the table, we'd discover even more perspectives on this book. And I just wanted to give us all kudos for bringing more people together to get more perspectives on everything. So, I mean, that's what we're doing here, right? It's just getting more perspectives because we tend to go through our lives with a kind of a grouping of beliefs, if you will, about what's possible in our lives or how we are or things that we do or don't do or what we're capable of. I mean, all of those different things. And we can read a book and we can get an idea of, you know, maybe something that we could change. But when we listen to what other people do, how they face their problems or they face their difficulties, is that we get these different perspectives on what we could do differently as well, especially if it's something we've never even considered. And I can't tell you how many times that has happened for me, having discussions with you guys on here about these different books, and I just be like, I never thought of it that way. That's so cool to be able to just see something from another angle. So that's a powerful thing. And so I definitely agree with that as far as this part of his thought processes.
I definitely could say that I am stuck in a way with my adamant stance on avoiding pharmaceuticals to treat MS because they're not a cure. And I don't want to add more side effects and complications to what I'm already dealing with, which I think is a very fortunate and mild case of the condition. Because when I hear other people, all that they're going through, and they're on 10 different medications and they have so many complications. And after 30 some years of changing my diet, changing products, changing more than my clothes, not seeing any results anywhere, but it's my perspective on the whole thing. It could be worse, and I don't want to go down that road. And sure, there's new medicines, but I feel like I'd be another guinea pig.
Mhm. Are you in a MS support group, Lori? Besides the people in this group who also have MS. So are you in like a group where you've had a lot of discussions? Obviously.
I have been, but as too much of this, oh, poor me, and woe is me, and I just cannot deal with it.
I get that. Yeah, no, I get that. But you collected perspectives and information mainly, and now what you don't want anymore is a lot of the maybe negative emotions that other people seem to give to you. I can totally understand that. You want to keep yourself uplifted, and sometimes when people well, it'll pull you down if you're not, yeah. You have to protect kind of your mood and your energy. So yeah, good choice. It's good. I
I,
mean, we have to make those choices all the time, don't we? I
yeah,
mean, mhm.
again, I
So,
don't want to make this about me or about MS. It's just the topic of the conversation.
and that's what I'm talking about too, the perspectives. You've gotten a lot of perspectives and information about MS and taking drugs and what people have experienced. And you realized you've taken all that information and realized for you, you would rather not go down that road
Right. I've,
with all the drugs, with taking more drugs.
well, I never have. I took one drug and I thought it was gonna be the end of me. I felt way worse taking that medication.
Mhm.
And there's other new ones, and I just have a huge wall about that. I don't know.
Yeah. And you may be one of those people that are very sensitive to medicines and they don't
I
work as
am.
well on you as they do on other people. Somebody else might get a benefit, even though maybe a negative side effect too, but the benefit may outweigh, the negative part, the negative aspect of the drug. But with you, it sounds like you're just really sensitive to drugs.
Well, I am. I'm open to other perspectives, but I haven't found one that works for me. I'm
I'll
too
give,
stubborn and independent.
yeah, I mean, I can give you another perspective. I don't like medications, but I don't really have a choice.
Hmm.
I'm at the stage where I can't live with this kind of nerve damage without the medications, and they barely work. So I'm the other way. I mean, and I don't like them, and I try to limit what I'm taking, but I mean, I got no choice. So I mean, the other perspective, Lori, would be grateful that you have that choice, that you don't have to take that medicine right now, and be thankful because I
Oh,
don't.
trust me, I
Yeah,
am very
I don't really
grateful.
have that choice, but yeah, I hear you.
Hmm.
I am. I hear you also. I cannot imagine having all that pain. I'm sure I would, because if I had pain, I probably would tear anybody's face off that came within 10 feet of me or something. But
No, it
I am,
changes you. It
yeah.
changes you. I mean, I don't like it, and I don't like what I'm going through, but um, I would have never found me, so I would have gone to my grave without really loving who I was if it wasn't for this thing.
Hmm.
So in some ways, I get to, and right now I'm on the journey of trying to find out how to give myself the things that I need that I never gave myself before. And so each day is new. And I just came through a couple of really off days for me. Um, and it feels good to move through that and come out the other side.
Hmm.
Thank you
But
for sharing that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have to chase discomfort too much.
That's what I say. It's easy. It finds me.
Oh, Yeah, yeah. But you guys give all of us a perspective on how to deal with something challenging like this disease, because any of us could be maybe not get that disease, but something else, and be going through something similar that you're going through. So it gives me a perspective on what someone goes through and how someone gets to the other side, and being open and being just allowing people to be supportive and talking about what you're going through. I think is just really important, and also allowing us a perspective inside your world and what you deal with, and knowing that that's a possibility for any of us to have to deal with something like that, and seeing how you deal with it. So I thank you for the opportunity to and how you share what you're going through, and your ups and your downs, and also just the optimism that Kenji just mentioned, and you too, Lori, the optimism and that you have, that you can get through this, and you can find um, um, good times, good moments, and feel good about your where you are in the journey, and what you've accessed, which is your spirituality. One of the things that you've accessed, and how you've kind of taken charge. I mean, like you, Lori, have taken charge of how you want to uh, um, deal with the option of drugs. So that empowers you, and it's again, we all have choices, and that's one of the choices that you made. You were allowed to make, and so.
I'll share one other thing. In 2017, my ex and I, we divorced in 2012. It became final, but we stayed friends. And in 2016, towards 17, I was doing some yard work for her, and I noticed she was walking, you know, really, really looked strange to me, just different. And I didn't really say anything about it. And a few weeks went by, and she came and she told me that she was diagnosed with atypical Parkinson's. And I wasn't sure what that was. And she said that it's an aggressive form of Parkinson's. And so I went through that with her all the way to the very end. And that changes you too. When you have to go through, I mean, we laughed. So many moments were so beautiful, because so much irony. Having divorced, me as a child, and then me having to turn around and actually be there for her when I couldn't be there when we were married. So, and then this thing happened to me. So I was blind to other people's suffering. I always thought my view was the only view. I was numb to other people's perspectives, and very limited in my view.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I commend you for going back and helping her. It reminds me of that movie, Diary of an Angry Black Woman, and she almost killed him after he, whatever. I'm not getting into that. It's just, that is very noble of you to have helped her through that.
Yeah, I agree. That well, Kendi just showed tremendous compassion. I don't think that's unusual, but to literally stay with her and do for her and be there for her. That takes love. He showed love for her and oftentimes isn't that we're challenged to find love in every situation. And he did. And I think we're all challenged in that way to find the love in especially people who are going through these difficult things in their lives. We want them to feel that we care enough. We want to hear if they're willing to share what they're going through, what their everyday, how difficult their everyday life is.
Not once did she complain. Not once.
Really?
Not once. Not once.
And that you found a depth in her that maybe you didn't know existed.
No,
So
I knew she was strong, but she just wouldn't allow herself to go down that path. I mean, I know that she would cry at night, when she was alone, but not when we were around. She was very strong that way.
Wow. And why do you think that is? That she just didn't want you
Because
to
she knew, because she knew, because she knew how close her son and I were to not being able to handle it,
Okay. I figured it was something like that.
right?
She
So
was
she
trying to
showed us,
spare you
right?
feeling
Yeah,
worse than you
yeah.
already felt. Yeah,
Kind of, how beautiful is that?
it is. It is.
It's
But
beautiful, but it also causes cancer. Being stoic and holding emotions and like that is
Oh,
what
absolutely.
leads, or not cancer, or it causes cancer, but it also causes other
right.
illnesses too.
Right. I think we all know that stuffing our feelings is going to lead to some kind of illness, either physical illness or mental illness.
No, I had no clue. I had
Yeah,
no clue.
wow.
I did not know that the body would manifest itself, or mentally would manifest itself in a physical way. I was in my mid-30s before I knew that. So
Um,
I was raised avoidance. We've discussed that before, but so it's just a way of living where, you don't really feel. You try to not feel.
which we know now is
Yeah.
so unhealthy, so unhealthy. Yeah.
Yeah, and the beauty of life is feeling, is being alive, even when it hurts.
Yeah, feeling it all and not numbing ourselves to it, which we do, which we numb ourselves by watching TV. Um,
You name it.
yeah, there's so many ways. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and to find ways to feel these things without numbing it, like find a peaceful place to well, in our meditations, that's a peaceful place. Or whatever it is. I mean, I like to garden and I like to walk in nature, and that seems to really balance me. And I can clear a lot of the emotions, maybe that I really didn't want to continue to feel. I can release them that way, or start to release them. So yeah. So um so the chapter really is about, again, let me read that last sentence again. Getting unstuck. started on 48.
The only way out is through.
The way
how
out
to
of
know-
faulty or limiting beliefs is through the discomfort of expanding your view of reality.
Right.
Expanding your view of reality, right?
I can definitely attest to when he was talking about how to know when you're on the right track, you feel alive. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but I certainly, when you overcome a hurdle, whether it's physical or psychological, emotional, when you overcome that hurdle and finally get over it, don't you just, or like if you've been, just to take it down to something real simple, for me, it's always taxes. Taxes just scare the hell out of me. I'm afraid to do taxes. I must have been put in tax prison in a past life or something. Like I have no idea why it scares me so bad, but so I'll put it off and put it off and put it off until it's like the last minute, which is, the wrong thing to do totally. But then once I finally do it, oh my God, and it's over and it's, and it always works out good. And then I feel so alive again because that burden. So then to ramp that back up, sometimes we have these struggles in life that are just so challenging. But typically for me, it always, comes back to perspective. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes getting over the hurdle is just changing the way I'm thinking about it. Almost always, that's what it is. Like for you, Lori, you feel stuck around this pharmaceutical issue. I can completely relate because except I don't feel stuck around it. So I have set for now, and I have to say it that way because I have set other, at first when I got CRPS, I don't have MS, I have CRPS. When I got it, I refused pharmaceuticals. And because I had such horrible experiences with pharmaceuticals before. And so, because I'm one of these sensitives that, they don't, for some reason, I don't metabolize them right or something. I don't know. But, so I was like, no pharmaceuticals. And then I got to the point I had no choice. I got to where Kenji is. I had no choice. I had to, in order to survive the next 24 hours, I had to change what I was doing. And so I decided to take a very, very low dose. It was nowhere near the regular dose of what they would give somebody. I took a super low dose of something. And by God, we just happened across the right one for me that it helps this nerve pain.
Right.
And sadly, it does have side effects.
Major.
But for me, the benefit far outweighs the side effects. But on another level, I have a complete no-go on anything invasive, because anything invasive, any needle stick, any
Nope.
injury, anything can make it spread to that area of the body. So
Yep.
for me, I'm refusing all of their treatments. They have all these nerve blocks and spinal cord stimulators, all this crap they want to do to you. And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm exactly where you are with pharmaceuticals, but I don't feel stuck about it. I just feel like that is my boundary for now, and I may have to change that in the future, just like I've had to change in the past, but maybe I won't. Maybe something else miraculous is going to come about later today or tomorrow. We
Do
never
you
know.
do you feel the Lyrica has an impact on your cognitive abilities?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, because
Absolutely.
I struggle with it a lot. I just wanted to ask you that.
Yeah, absolutely. But
In
I mean, it's the difference between having some mental fog and
Right.
or, being in screaming pain. I mean,
I get it.
there's no choice.
Horribly prickly, burny. I get it. I mean, I know.
So,
Wow.
Not
so I
doable.
don't feel stuck about it. That was my point. I didn't mean to go into a whole dialogue about it, but I don't see that as a stuck area for me. I have to stay fluid, because every day is different.
Mm.
And some days I wake up and I can do so much more than I ever imagined I could. So
Mhm.
I have to stay open to those days too,
Mhm.
and hope every day is like that I just somehow have healing or clearing as I work through things with you guys here and in other groups too, or just through meditation, or, you sometimes blockages resolve for whatever reason. Maybe it's God's timing. I don't know. You run into the right folks,
Yeah.
you're there at the right time. However miracles come about, So just
Yeah, I agree.
be
You always
open.
have
Yeah.
to have, I think you have to have belief, a knowing that things can change for the better, and that
Mm.
spirit, is helping you in all ways. And so knowing that, I think, at least for me, it would be for me. I mean, I believe that even in my life, which I don't have quite the physical challenges that you do, but certainly that I have that total belief that whatever I'm going through, um, that spirit is there to, as they say in our community, spirit has your back, which isn't exactly an elegant way of saying it, an elegant way, but it's so true. It's spirit really wants us to thrive, but yet we're given challenges, and I believe that we planned some of those challenges before we were born. So, um, but yet we can always, that can always change. And as Catherine said, there's miracles that,
Were you
oh no, that's
were you
Samantha.
raised with optimism?
Well, I really wasn't in my family. My family was a very, they were people, my parents had difficult childhoods, and they did the best they could, but no, they weren't. I think I was born, somebody told me, a psychic, that I was born with a different energy than my family, that I came in with, and I was born a Sagittarian. I think that has partly to do with it. And Sagittarians are very optimistic. I mean, I've had my really rough times, but somehow my belief that it would change, it was temporary, and that things would get better was always there, always there. Even through the difficulty with my family, they were just non-nurturing. They were very distant, very cold. I think they were living in their own little world, and they had parents who were probably very distant too, and so they didn't know how to be a parent. So, I've processed that through the years, and I've forgiven, that and know that they've done the best that they could. And I've gone to psychics that my parents have come through, and they're very grateful that I've forgiven them, and that it's really helped this ancestral trauma in
Did
our
that
family line.
I stumbled onto a psychic yesterday that lives here in our town, and I've never really even given that really a thought until just recently. And I'm thinking, maybe there might be something there for me. Maybe I need to get my palm painted red.
Or that, or whatever they might suggest. I mean, it's fascinating when you're at a point where you feel, yeah, I think I can explore that.
Mm.
um I don't know if you were here, Kenji, last time when Catherine suggested, well, I opened up with discussion about how I wanted to improve my intuition. And she said, well, Jane, I'm a medium and a psychic, and here's a class you might be interested in. So Cheryl and I are taking that class on mediumship and developing your psychic abilities. And this past Tuesday was the first class. So it's like for 7 weeks. And then after that, in June, we signed up for how to read tarot cards. And with tarot
Mm.
cards, you're using your intuition. You're connecting with the other side, whether it be your spirit guides, your angels, a higher master, ascended masters. You know, you can even go so far as the Akashic records. You know, where you can glean information, you know, just a knowing, and you're reading the cards for this other person. So I find it fascinating. I've never felt that it was for me though to explore those things. I thought, nah, you know, I can't do that. But evidently I've learned incrementally over the years, um you can change your perspective and say, you know, I might be able to do that now. I might be able to learn how to do that. You know, I always thought that people were born with those gifts, you know, or had a near-death experience and came back with some of these gifts or whatever, but never felt that, you know, I could develop those gifts. And now I believe that I can. And Cheryl's in the class with me, and it's going to be quite an adventure. And I'm willing to embrace that discomfort because
Mhm.
it is going to be a discomfort, you know.
Right. I mean, I used to think that my saying was, I need to see to believe. And really, that's not the way it works. You need to believe that it's possible.
Yes.
And
That
then it becomes real.
That's exactly right.
I
Yeah,
I
you hit the nail
intended
on
to
it.
I intended to take that class also because I heard last week also, and I just didn't get it done. And I still am pulling my tarot card daily, and I am just flabbergasted at how often it slaps me in the face. See?
Mm.
Um,
Well, Lori, it's not too late. All the classes are recorded. Um, or you can maybe choose to do it another time. She gives them often, you know, and again, they're Zoom classes from the UK, and it ends up the time being like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's doable. Yeah, you can always get that information now from me or from, I think I got it from Catherine. I'm pretty sure it was Catherine.
Does it work over Zoom? Can you connect with a medium via that platform?
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's teaching us how to become mediums, and so there's information. We just got an overall kind of information about what the class entails. And then we're going to, you know, dive into it more, you know, I guess with practices and suggestions, and, you know, I'm sure a lot of time in stillness and contemplation and meditation is all part of it, you know, which
I mean,
we
we know mankind, so anything that's typically beneficial, they kind of like want to discard or downplay it. And maybe that's why there's such negative connotations around witches and mediums, because maybe it works.
It does work, and it does work over Zoom. It works over a phone call. It works with a picture. It works with an object. It works with an animal. It works
Nice.
with a tree. It like it just
Great.
works. And Yeah, it's not too late. If anybody, I can put the link in, I think I put it in the
What time is it on Tuesday?
Discomfort chat.
What
2
time on,
o'clock.
in
2
the
2
o'clock.
o'clock
afternoon?
in the afternoon. Yeah, it's a
Because
reasonable
I do
time.
therapy at 5, and then we only have 2 more weeks and then we'll be done, but so 2 I could do.
Yeah, you could do it.
All right, I'll reach out to you, Catherine.
I'll put
I'll
the
be right
link in the
back.
chat. You know, that's, as a matter of fact, that was one of the things I kind of got off on talking about something different. But when going back to you feel alive, one of the things that made me feel alive again was starting to do this mediumship work. That is exactly what made me feel alive again. Up
Bring
until
back the
then, I
magic.
was,
Brings back the
yeah,
magic.
it does. It brings back the magic. It reminds you of who you are. And just, I mean, you're so powerful and you just
When I
don't
was a
even
kid,
realize it.
I used to think I could fly.
That's
You
funny.
can
That's
in another universe, in another
And I
dimension, you're
had so many
flying.
dreams of me flying around when I was a kid. I used to love it.
that's so funny that that has come across my mind as like trying to learn to fly or being able to fly. Interesting, but the idea of being calm and still, that's all I've done the last 5 years, being calm and accepting what is, and instead of trying to create or build something different. And
We haven't heard from Jason yet. Where's Jason?
sometimes he likes to hang in the background
He likes
and
to
come
just
out
listen.
and
and
come
then,
out at the end with some very
Yes.
profound
profound
statement.
thing.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
Well,
No
don't you?
pressure. No
Please,
pressure, right?
Right. No pressure, Jason. You can still stay hidden.
Can you hear me
I-
okay?
we
Yep.
can.
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, good. At
You make
least
me
we know you're
laugh.
there.
You make me laugh.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's real good. It's great to laugh.
It is great.
It's
Yeah,
it's great to accomplish things, and it's great to commune with others, and
yeah.
yeah, I
I'm
appreciate it all.
excited.
Thank you.
I'm excited knowing Kenji and maybe Lori might join us in the class. I mean, not that we're going to see each other because there's like hundreds of people in this class. So you don't get to see anybody's faces. But that would be wonderful because
Well,
we'd have
that almost makes me think, oh, if everybody's doing it, then I want to go the other way because I don't want to be trampled by the sheeple. No, I'm joking, but
okay. Like, okay, we got a little rebel here, and that's okay too.
well, it's not
There's
about
that
being a
pushback.
rebel. It's choosing my own path and going
Right.
the high road.
Yes.
But think about it. We might be talking about the class, and you might think, oh, geez, I could have taken that class, and look at all they're learning, And I don't know, there could be some jealousy there. You should, I'm just
There really are.
saying. I'm just
There really are no.
saying.
There really are no coincidence. There really are no coincidences. So I
Right.
mean, if it's been
Maybe.
put on your path, then there's a high likelihood it's there for a reason.
Right, right. And
But
don't you think it's interesting that people because I'm very careful about who I tell about taking this class because it does have some kind of negative connotations,
Right.
like you want to do what? And again, I think it goes back to people really think, and they've been indoctrinated by their limiting beliefs that you
Yes.
know, the devil will or Satan it does is really though
I
they
know,
say
I know, I know, I know. It's real.
that that somehow Satan will kind of crawl in there and do bad things and will be affected by that. And yeah, instead of believing that it's really is a way to connect with God, that it really that we're supposed to, that we're not separate from God, and that this if we consciously develop skills to hear and notice things, that we can communicate better and help other people and ourselves.
Just think of the negative connotations the word pagan has in the Christian church.
Absolutely.
And it's
Oh, I
actually
know.
it's the most benign word that there possibly could be, yet they're offended by it.
Yeah, and witches. I mean, witches really were part of the pagan culture. They were people that believed in plants for medicinal
Yes.
reasons, and they really performed like rituals like indigenous people. So I don't believe that there was anything satanic or evil about
No.
witches.
Whoa. He's out of space.
Excuse me.
Who was that?
That was
Jason.
Jason.
That's
Jason?
Jason.
Nice
Well,
pick.
it's super interesting. Like if you, I'm sorry, Jane.
No, please go on. I want someone to jump in.
It's super interesting to, let's say, you know, you feel stuck somewhere. We'll bring it back to the chapter. Say you feel stuck somewhere. You can not only gather a group of people to talk to, but you can gather brilliant minds like Einstein and Tesla, you know, like all of these people. You can ask them what to do about your stuckness, and they have much better advice than humans most of the time. And it's just so, um, gosh, I don't know. It just takes a burden off your shoulders somehow when you really realize how interconnected we all are and how much we have access to. We feel sometimes we get burdened by whatever's going on and we feel very, very small and boxed in, and learning how to use these skills that everyone has. It just like you said, Jane, it's anyone can learn these skills. And if you're not comfortable for whatever reason with mediumship or quote psychic skills, you can learn um oh, what is it? It just escaped my mind.
Well,
Remote
intuition.
viewing. You can learn remote viewing, and that is extremely, especially for people that are kind of left brain that really want everything to be written down exactly right and kept in, you know, that remote viewing, if you do it, can be, I mean, anybody can learn that too. So, and don't be like mediumship is a very broad term, and it it just, I don't know, it just opens up your world. It did. It made me feel alive again. It really did. And I just encourage anybody to, if you're open to it, or even just try it. And then if you're, you know, if you're
Have
not
you
digging it, then don't do it.
It's not expensive either.
No, it
Between
wasn't.
it not at all.
okay.
I was really surprised. It was only
Yeah.
like $30 for the mediumship psychic course, and then in
How
June,
much?
30, like
Oh.
30, and then like 20, like together, both classes were like $50.
How
That's
much is
cheap.
how much is my cape?
Your cape, your super
My
person cape.
my Merlin cape and my little hat.
I don't know. We can shop for you. I'll
Oh,
look on Amazon for
yes,
you.
Amazon has everything.
Go to the secondhand store.
But I was gonna
Right.
say, have you ever noticed like sometimes when somebody would make a recommendation to me to try something new, I would automatically feel this like this super hesitation deep inside of me that's saying, no, I'm not going to try that. And kind of like automatically blowing something off before I really had a chance to really weigh it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's my limiting beliefs. I mean, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Head
Yeah.
on, just sticking to
Well,
what I think I know.
and I have a little story. It's not long. Cheryl, the Cheryl that's on this Zoom call, has been trying to help me with my psychic abilities for a while. And Cheryl, do you remember that I still have that bag with something that you gave me probably like 2 years ago? She gave me a little bag and like a lunch bag. And there's something that's important to her that's in the bag. And she said, well, we're just going to keep this here, Jane. One day you're going to figure out what's in the bag,
Mm.
by just your intuition and that skill. And so I'm hoping that after this class I'm gonna know what the hell's in that bag.
Mm.
So anyway, I look at it that, if I don't learn anything, that's okay, but if I do, better, better. Or at least I can continue to work on it, find ways to continue to maybe develop that skill. So I'm not
think
afraid of
maybe-
failing. Yeah,
Guru Dev would probably say that you already know what's in the bag.
I do. It's buried in my it just won't come forth.
Right.
And who's Guru Deaf? Is that
Guru Dev, it's he's Ravi Kapoor. He's like are you familiar with Sadhguru?
no,
Just
yeah.
Middle Eastern Hindu
Okay.
enlightened beings. I mean, they have more followers than any Christian religion. I mean, they have millions of followers.
Oh, it's somebody, a yogi like Yogananda.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I enjoy,
And like
I mean,
Ram Das.
yes,
Like
I'm not, I mean, I spent some time there. I mean, I don't think that's going to be who I am, but I really enjoy their teachings, and every now and then it's spot on for me. And I do a lot of the mantras.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. That sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Om.
That was
It's-
probably why I didn't join the class. I mean, because depending on the time of the month, $30 is like, oh, can't do that, That's probably what it was. So maybe it's early
that's
enough
the-
in the month.
If that's the case,
Right.
just let me know. That's not
Yeah,
going to be the reason.
Same
We'll
here. I would
take care of
love
it.
to help you. I'll take care of that for you. You just give me your address and I'll send you a check.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Or you can messenger in it, or there's Cash App. There's all kinds of ways.
Yeah, I
that's
don't like
true.
to get involved in those newfangled things. That's
No,
just
remember, you're expanding your horizons now. Remember.
Well, I can do Zelle. I have Zelle. Do you know what that is? Do you have an
Yeah.
I
online
know what
banking?
that is, and I don't have it yet.
Oh, okay.
Lori,
Okay,
yeah, you've got to
okay.
expand your horizon. You've got to face your discomfort there, Lori. Come on.
Yeah.
Show us you can do it, Lori. No, Lori, I'm fine with that. I can send you a check, honey. So, I mean, truly,
Yes.
I would love to have you in this class talking about it. And it's only $30. So please allow me. It would be my pleasure.
That's what I'm
So-
saying. I probably can manage it now, but when last week was the end of the month, and I don't know. I'll check it out.
Just don't worry about
when-
it. You don't have to worry about it. Just let it go. It's taken care of.
I'm not worrying. I'm just
No, but it's
managing
taken
my
care of.
finances, which is one thing that if I can't handle my finances, then they'd put me in a facility or something. And
Oh God, they'll be locking me up soon then.
We'll come rescue you.
Yes.
We can't have that. Oh no. Oh no.
right, well, being able to bathe yourself and that kind of thing could
Yes.
also, you know,
Yes.
if you're not taking care of yourself, then, oh, well, we need to put her in assisted living. And I'm as stubborn about that as
Right.
everything else. And the medication, I'm like, no, not going there.
Have you ever seen the movie Thelma and Louise?
Yes,
How they
long
remember how
time
they
ago.
remember how they finish off their life?
Yeah.
Not
Over a
exactly.
cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
have options.
I feel like
Yeah.
We have options.
No
I feel like
assisted
I've
living.
lived on the edge of that cliff most of my life, with the family structure and everything that I came from. It's like, doesn't take much to push me over the cliff. But I have never gone over the cliff, obviously, right now. But
Yeah, you're hanging. You're hanging.
Yes.
by a
You're-
thread.
Well, but still you're hanging, and you've got some great positive ideas in your head, and you've got a lot of support system, and a lot of love here for you. So we're gonna make sure you keep hanging, even if it's by that thread. And
We,
anything that, yeah, go on.
we talked about perception and how perception is our reality. And I had made reference to that being thankful for the trouble of your jobs. I did find the book and the quote, who it's from. So I wanted to post that in the chat.
Cool.
Oh, okay. Let me
It would
check
be
that.
great to read that too, because some people won't see this chat. So would you like to read it
Yeah,
since
read
you
it.
shared it with us?
Yeah.
Yes. So it says, be thankful for the troubles of your job. They provide you half of your income. Because if it were not for those things that go wrong, the difficult people you have to deal with, and the problems and unpleasantness of your workday, someone could do it. Yeah, I have a cover on it. Oh, do it could be found to handle your job for half of what you are being paid. In fact, that there are plenty of big jobs waiting for men and women who aren't afraid of troubles connected to them. And it's the case of the bonsai manager. And I cannot pronounce that last name.
Holy moly.
Yeah, don't
G-O-
try.
GOPALAKRISHNAN.
Krishnan is the
Oh,
Gopalak Krishnan? Something like that.
I'll go with that, Kenji. Thank you.
Okay, I'm I'm copying that to where I can access it. It's a good quote. Thank you. Okay, so where am I?
With daddy?
Yeah, that's a great point, and that's, I mean, I don't know where I've gotten it, but exactly, probably somewhere in this class or this group. Um, it is like a class because I'm always learning something from you guys. But just it's sort of become an ingrained habit that whenever I'm feeling discomfort or just feeling out of sorts, just not feeling happy or anything like that, it's sort of become an ingrained habit to just with my mind seek out something to be grateful for, something, some different perspective perhaps that I've never felt before or could see before. Um, and even if it's a perspective that is completely not from my own point of view, like, well, I just dropped my French fry, but at least that squirrel got a meal, So if, whatever it might be, but it seems like that has become a habit, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. And I like that because oftentimes when I feel like I want to go through a gratitude list, I recently, said, oh, well, okay, I can do the usual things I'm grateful for, but let me try to find something different. Yes, and as you're saying, Jason, so just expand that. And it's almost like you can use your imagination in so many ways to do that, which is, I think, a good use of the imagination. And that was imaginative to come up with that. So I liked it. How do you catch a squirrel? Climb a tree.
And act like a nut.
Okay. I was going, thank you.
And that's a good one, Kenneth. I like that.
That is. I love goofy jokes. Feel free to share whenever.
Yeah, but it does become difficult sometimes. So like in that idea of the troubles of your job, so let's say you do get canned, you do get fired. And I mean, how do you find some good way to think of that, that, well, maybe there is someone who was much more needing of that job, and this is now an opportunity for me to expand my horizons. I mean, and that is a little bit more difficult than losing a French fry, but it's but it's a, and that is like, facing that discomfort head on, and not allowing it, just refusing to allow it to push you over that edge, or whatever it may be, but to maybe use it to fuel you in your pursuit of more happiness, perhaps.
Oh, I agree with that. And I think just how we deal with a disappointment or being fired from a job, or um, dealing with whatever we've been given, even the pain that many of you experience here on this Zoom call, is finding ways that you can be proud of how you've dealt with it. And I think that feeling that you're, hey, oh, I did this, I got through this day, and I think that is encouraging. And again, like losing a job, the opportunity, looking at things like an opportunity that you can adjust, and you can find a way to carry on through whatever your struggle is. I've often found that, like, oh, think back on things that happened in my life and go, oh my God, that was really a tough one. How did I get through? But somehow or another, I always knew it was always temporary, and that I could look at it from that perspective, and knowing that it would get better. And it usually did. It took a while.
That's where the phrase, this too shall pass. I use
Yes.
that a lot.
This too shall pass. That's right. That's right.
Oh, there you go, Catherine.
Yeah, that was synchronistic, wasn't it? Yep. Yep. Well, because you all use that phrase too. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Again, try to reframe whatever you're going through in in a positive, grateful way, if you can.
It's hard to think about that because I've been dealing with MS for 30 years, but it hasn't passed.
I know, but
Don't-
think of,
Don't feel sad or sorry.
but you gain gifts in that. I mean, I had a really difficult childhood, but from that I learned how to forgive from a very deep level. And one of my one of the psychics that read for me said, Jane, that's not an easy thing to do. You really shifted the energy, and that ripples through the universe. And like, wow, okay. So I found that I did something that I didn't look at that was, well, it was amazing for me to do. And not only did I think that way, but I've had other psychics say, Jane, this was important. So in other words, look at some of the things that you've done that you shifted the energy, and that ripples out into the universe, into the collective consciousness. That just having courage, having resilience, having faith, having, just being on this call and sharing with love and trust, those are all things that are amazing to me that you can do, you know and so even things that you might think are small like that, they're not small.
Maybe we'll have to compare notes about rough childhood, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, you said something about your family. Yeah, we can do that. We can compare notes one day. Yep, absolutely. So
Guess we'll
yeah.
have to connect somewhere else than here.
Well, I mean, I'm sure nobody would mind if we did. I don't want to hog the rest
Yeah,
of the
that's what
time
I'm
here.
saying.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
would be a whole book in itself, but we're not going there right now.
Okay, but I
Talking
promise
about
you we
hunting
will.
discomfort.
I promise you we will at some point. I mean,
Right.
I don't have a Zoom account, but I know Cheryl would let me borrow hers, or I could manage to pay for a
Well,
Zoom account.
there's other things besides Zoom. I
Yes,
don't know.
but
Zoom's
Okay,
not free.
Sherry. Bye, Sherry.
bye,
Bye.
Sherry.
Take
See you
care,
later.
guys.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Have a great week.
And
Zoom's
Jane,
not,
you're more than welcome to use my Zoom
Zoom
account.
is free.
And just
Zoom's
let me
not
know
free?
when you're gonna do it, because I'll end up having to, I'll have a code or something that I'll have to give them so that you can use it, because Zoom is getting wise now to other people using using
There's a
Damn it.
free
the Zoom
Zoom.
links.
Ah,
So,
damn it.
Jane,
Yeah,
there's
I
a
can't.
free Zoom.
it
What?
is, but it's 40 minutes long, and
It's,
if you
yeah,
want to go more than that, you really can't. So,
Well, can't you
yeah,
can end it and then call back or something?
well, you could do that, but
yeah.
depending on how
The
many
limit
times you
is
want to do
only-
that. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and you have
Okay.
to get a link, and you have to, I don't think it would be the same link. So
Okay.
it would be a lot
What was
more.
that other platform?
I think that the limit on Zoom is only if you're recording it. The 40-minute limit.
Oh.
Oh, my husband used
I
that link
don't
with his
think so.
friends, and his friends from New York and California, and it cut out after 40 minutes. And I know
Oh,
they
even
don't
though they
record.
were
I know they don't record
Okay,
their gatherings.
right. They
So
must have changed it then.
yeah,
I
they're
know
probably doing all kinds of things now. That
Right.
we've
They've
gone
changed all-
way over the hour today so
Yep.
far.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're already past the hour.
Well,
It's all
my
good though.
favorite thing that I heard today was sort of a reiteration of what we've talked about before, in that what what you're searching for and what our happiness can be is many times on the other side of that discomfort that you're feeling. and that you push through it. When you push through it,
Yes.
you will get a lot more of what you want, apparently.